Good morning, you self-storage ninjas. So it's Wednesday morning, and what I want to talk to you about today is my Wrexham site and how important insurance is, not just for you as an owner, but for your customers as well. Sorry, I've just seen an email come through. Right, so the reason why it's so important is because it's a win for each party. It's a win for your customers because your customers are then protected against not every eventuality, but a lot of eventualities that can happen in storage. Unfortunately, leaks happen, there's theft, etc. There's so many things, fire, heaven forbid, cross fingers, touch wood, heaven forbid, something happens, it can happen. And so at least that with insurance, the customer is protected. And so it's good for them. But not only that, it's good for you as well. I mean, you wouldn't have a Ferrari and not insure it, would you? You wouldn't not insure your car. So why would you not insure your personal belongings in storage? Of course you should. And we should push that as a requirement to the customers. Now, it's good for us because insurance multiples that we take. So we basically buy a balloon payment, what is it? Anyway, we buy a job lot. So we buy maybe £1 million worth of insurance, and then we can sell that off in little parts. And how it works out for us is that for every 95 pence or 96 pence that we take insurance, for every pound we take, 95 and 96 pence of that is pure profit. It goes straight down to the bottom line. And this is just a quick example of what people are missing out on. So, as you know, we bought Wrexham. The people there didn't sell insurance because they thought there was no need. They haven't got many units there, and they just thought, what's the point? A pound here and a pound there. We're not going to really make much money, are we? Anyway, that's where you're wrong. That's where they was wrong. And what you do to maximize it as well is that you have minimum insurance amounts for different sizes. So for a 5,000 square foot room, the minimum might be £3,000. For a 25 square foot room, it might be £3,000 also. However, for a 160 square foot room, then the minimum should be around about £7,000. And the reason why we have that minimum is twofold. Number one, obviously we earn more revenue. There's no hiding behind it. We earn more revenue. But number two is that the customers are correctly insuring their goods, because if heaven forbid something happens with their room and they've only insured it for £3,000 and there's really £7,000 worth of stuff in there, when it comes to the claim, what is the customer going to say? The customer is going to be irate and upset, and you're going to be all the rascals in the world. They're not going to be happy with you. And so therefore, we've got to make sure that we push for people correctly insuring their belongings. And we do that by a minimum insurance level. And so there's various different ways of how you sell it, but this podcast isn't a way of trying to push people into a higher amount of insurance for the correct amount of goods. Like I said, there's loads of different ways we do that. However, ultimately, the idea is making sure they don't have any more or any less than the correct amount. Don't get me wrong, you can't be precise, but we don't want them to be underselling themselves to try and save money, because you won't want to insure a Ferrari at a Mini's price, would you? It just wouldn't happen. So we've got to try. There's a fine balance in that there to make sure the customers have the correct amount of insurance. So the way we do it is we have minimum insurance for each room sizes, and that makes a massive difference. So in terms of Wrexham, this is what I really want to get across to you, that is so fascinating and good. This is based on figures on the 11th of July. So this will still improve with time. This is the first month that we included insurance in our, we wrote to everybody last month or something. He said, look, in July, we're going to be starting including. I think you've got to give people like 28 days notice. I think it is anyway, the direct debits terms or whatever. So if you're making any changes to their payment terms or amounts, then what you've got to do is you've got to increase, you've got to make sure that you allow 28 days, 20, whatever it is, notice period. So we wrote to him and said, listen, we're going to be charging insurance now because it's a requirement of a self-storage association. I don't know. It's a recommendation, I think, by the self-storage associations. So you've got to be careful how you use that. But basically, the self-storage association want you to charge insurance. And so we do. And so last month, we had zero insurance being charged. Now, this month, we have, at the minute, and it will go up, we have £957.61 being charged. So let's have a look at that. So we times £957.61. Oh, no, I'm not forgetting them pennies. times by 12, we've just made £11,491 difference straight away. We've had no pushback. Oh, sorry, we've had 2 people push back. And I think we got a little bit of insurance from one of them. And I can't remember what happened on either one. But we haven't lost any customers ultimately because of it. Because people are scared of doing price increases. People are scared of putting insurance through because they think you're going to lose customers. Ultimately, you don't. Or you don't lose nowhere near as much as you think you are going to lose. So that's, at the minute, currently, £11,491 extra straight to the bottom line. Well, nearly straight to the bottom line. So maybe £500 worth of that might be the insurance covered that we've had to pay. So ultimately, we're £11,000 better off. However, that amount, it's only on the 11th of July now. So that amount will still keep going up all the way through the month. I reckon it's going to be around about £1,300. £1,300 times 12 means that we've increased 15,600. So around about 15 grand extra straight to the bottom line. That's £300 a week. That's not almost. That is a part-time member of staff. That's £15,000. That's incredible. And the multiple, if we ever sell this Wrexham site, then the multiple will be a lot more because we've earned that £15,000 extra. So and it's a 3 times multiple, for argument's sake, which if you're selling one site, maybe it is 3 times. Anyway, there's an extra £45,000 to the overall value of a business. And so when you've got a site like Wrexham, which doesn't make much money, so basically when we bought it, it was making £12,000 a year. Then they had staff there themselves, paid themselves £19,000. So that's 31,000. We've made it obviously manless. We don't have them working there anymore. So that's £31,000 profit. We've just added 15,000. It takes it up to nearly £50,000. So we've increased our profits almost by 50%, £30,000 profit before, now 45,000 plus. And so we've increased our profit by 50% just by writing to the customers and saying we're charging insurance now. That's it. And it's a win for the customers and it's a win for us. So my question to you is twofold. Number one, are you charging insurance? If you are not, you are leaving money on the table. And I've just done this exercise. I've been through it. We've had 2 people ring up and question the amounts of insurance. One person was absolutely fine with it once we explained, and the next person, I don't know, we might have up to half it or whatever, I don't know. But ultimately, we're taking more money. And so, number one, if you are charging insurance, charge insurance, my friends, because you're leaving money on the table. And the second part of it is, do you have minimum insurance amounts per room size? I got this from Storage Kings. I read an article about them years and years and years ago where they bought a site and they turned it into they were saying about, it was in the Self-Storage magazine, whatever it was called back then, and they was talking about how much they've changed. They purchased it and how much they've changed this site in the space of a year or something. And I was like, right, how the hell have they earned so much insurance? So I went down there and I basically just pretended I was going to be a customer. And they told me about minimum insurance for the types of room. And this is way before Willoughby. And I got super, super excited thinking, oh my God, if they have a minimum insurance amount and we do that, we've meant the same at Beverley, we're going to make X amount of money extra. I was like, oh, I can't believe it. This is incredible. Anyway, so I got that from Storage Kings many years ago. Maybe 10, not quite 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, 9 years ago, something like that. And yeah, so if you are doing minimum insurance for your individual room sizes, then you are leaving money on the table as well. And nobody wants to leave that goddamn money on the table. All right, my friends, I'm going to go because me and the wife are watching some telly tonight. All right, I love you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you on Friday. See you soon. Bye-bye.